So where do you start? How do you join Wikitree? The first thing is, even though it's free, you do have to create an account. And that can be a little bit complicated in the sense of there are 3 levels of membership. There's guest membership, then you can be a family member, or you can be a Wikitree genealogist. And it's important to just understand what those 3 levels mean. So if you join as a guest member, basically that allows you to explore Wikitree. But it's a very simple account with not an awful lot of functionality attached to it. So the account can be easily deleted if you decide that it's not the place for you. What can you do? You can add comments to profiles that are already on Wikitree. You can receive messages without revealing your email address. You can participate in what is called the Genealogist to Genealogist Forum, or G2G as it's more commonly known. And that is a forum that is about Wikitree, but is about all types of genealogy. I mean, I'm particularly interested in DNA, and it's a great place for discussing various things that are happening in DNA. It's also a good place to look at research in different countries. You can also search for your ancestors using a GEDCOM file. And what that means is you can take a GEDCOM file and using a tool called GEDCOM Compare, you can run that across the whole database and see if there are potentially already existing ancestors of yours already on Wikitree. You can edit your own profile, but not the profile of others. So this is where the limitations come in. So as a guest, you can't go editing or creating other profiles. And you will see advertisements. And the revenue from those advertisements is what keeps Wikitree free. So then the next level up is family membership. So in addition to the services that you can get as a guest, you can create and improve profiles of your immediate family members. And you can add details of your DNA test if you've taken a DNA test. You can edit a profile if you're on its trusted list, and I'll explain what that means later. You're limited to 300 edits, so that's all that you can do. And you can't participate in projects or use categories. So again, it is limited in what it can do. But the highest level, which I would hope that all of you will strive for, is called the Wiki Genealogist. In order to be a Wiki Genealogist, you have to sign what's called the honor code, and I'll explain that in a minute. With that, you can then create and edit an unlimited number of profiles. So you can have thousands, tens of thousands. The number is totally unlimited in terms of what you can create. You can also add an unlimited number of images. You can receive private messages. You can control the privacy levels on a profile, and you can control trusted lists. There are no advertisements, so there's no distractions at all. You can monitor activity using a concept of tags. Often those tags might be surnames that are of interest to you. And with those tags, you then you will get a weekly email, and that will use the tags that you've created to tailor those emails to information that is relevant to you. You can also then confirm DNA relationships, and you can participate in projects. So those are all the main things, but there's also 101 other things you can do as a wiki genealogist that I could spend all night covering. I've mentioned about the Wikitree honor code, and that is important to get to the highest level. You've got to be willing to collaborate. And the idea of collaboration is that there is one profile on Wikitree per person. And if there ends up being multiple profiles, you must be willing to merge the profiles to create just a single profile per person. On accuracy, I mentioned that it aims to be the most accurate tree that exists. So you must work to fix mistakes. So if someone contacts you with a potential mistake in your tree, you must be open to making changes if they can be justified. And there are ways in which they will look at the information to make sure that it is the most accurate. You must obviously participate with courtesy and respect. You also need to respect privacy. Copyright is a big issue on Wikitree, and particularly around images, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. You need to give credit and acknowledge those who have given information. You must keep the information as free and open as possible. And you need to use sources and citations, and that is very important on Wikitree, and it is in fact used to resolve conflicts. So if you put information on on a profile and you put a particular source there, someone comes along saying, oh, but that information is wrong. There is, for example, on a tree on Ancestry, it says such and such. Basically, a tree on Ancestry isn't necessarily the most reliable of information. So you need to go further and be able to produce a source that is better than the existing source. And so therefore, sources and citations are used to resolve conflicts. If there's conflicts regarding information on a tree, you basically present your case along with a source, and that is used to sort out what is the most accurate information. If you're involved in any of the North of Ireland family history projects, another way of kind of joining is you may get an email from me where I might want you to join and say, for example, most importantly, to add your DNA information. So what I would say is I would encourage you to respond to the email, the invitational email, and you only get basically 30 days in order to respond. So please do try to react if you do get an email regarding Wikitree from me.